everyone, and welcome back. You know I love a good deep dive, and today we're taking a look at the world of business and finance.
Ooh, exciting.
Right, I think so too. And you know, we always have to have good source material. So today we are looking at IELTS vocabulary for business and finance.
Okay.
And I know some of you might be thinking, IELTS, is this like an English language test prep kind of thing?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, well, it is, but there's so much good vocab in here for anyone
absolutely.
who wants to improve their ability to talk about money and finance and business.
Yeah.
Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, you've got to give a presentation, or you just, want to be able to hold your own at a dinner party.
Right.
We're going to give you the vocabulary firepower.
Love it.
We're going to decode words like venture capital acquisition, even inflation.
Ooh, inflation. That's a good one.
Right. It's everywhere.
It is.
These are words that pop up in the news, in the office.
Absolutely.
Maybe even around your dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of this deep dive, you'll be able to just drop them into conversation like a pro.
Like you own them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Own those words.
What I think is so fascinating is that these aren't just fancy words to throw around.
Right.
Like, oh, listen to me. I know all this fancy financial jargon.
Right.
Understanding these terms gives you a real leg up in understanding how the world works.
That's so true.
From, Wall Street to Main Street.
To like everyday life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so let's kick things off with something I'm always excited to talk about.
Okay.
Startups and entrepreneurship.
Right.
You know those stories that we hear about people in their garage with a laptop and a dream?
Yeah.
Who are building these billion-dollar companies?
Absolutely.
I mean, I've definitely fantasized about being an entrepreneur.
Of course.
But what does it actually mean? What does it actually take to be an entrepreneur?
Well, it's more than just having a cool idea.
Right.
It's taking that idea and turning it into a business.
Okay.
And being willing to take on a lot of risk to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to note that they're incredibly important to the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Almost every major company, started as a small business, fueled by an entrepreneur's vision and a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And probably some long nights.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Blood, sweat, and tears, for sure.
So like Elon Musk, right?
Oh,
he's always in the news.
It's a perfect example.
He's starting, not just one company.
Right.
But multiple. Pushing the boundaries in tech and beyond.
Exactly. He's definitely like a high-profile example.
Yeah.
And, especially in the tech world, those businesses often start as startups.
Okay.
But it's not just any small business.
Right.
A startup usually has a very specific focus on rapid growth, often through technology and innovation.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that ambition is key.
Yeah.
That's what sets them apart.
But here's where I get a little lost.
Okay.
Venture capital. I mean, it sounds like something out of a spy movie.
It kind of does.
Right. Secret funds.
Yeah.
High stakes.
High stakes.
People in suits making deals in like dimly lit rooms.
Haha. It can seem that way.
It does.
But really at its core, venture capital is funding.
Okay.
That's given to startups by investors who believe in their potential.
Oh, so they're like betting on these companies.
They are. They're betting on them. They're saying, we think you're going to be the next big thing.
Okay.
And we're willing to take a risk.
So instead of getting a loan from a bank,
right,
they're getting money from these investors.
Exactly. And these investors are looking for the next Google, the next Facebook, the next, big IPO.
I guess that makes sense because it is really risky in those early stages.
It is incredibly risky.
Yeah.
And that risk is why we see venture capital concentrated in industries with huge growth potential, like technology.
Right.
Think about Google, Facebook in their early days.
Yeah.
They needed massive amounts of funding to scale up, and venture capitalists were there to provide it.
Okay. That's making a lot more sense now.
Good.
So we've got these companies, they're scaling up.
Mm-hmm.
What about mergers and acquisitions?
Ooh, yeah.
These words always feel a little intimidating.
They do.
Like something only Wall Street analysts really understand. Like, how are we even supposed to tell the difference between the two?
Well, it's easy to get them confused.
Right.
Think of a merger as two companies deciding to team up.
Okay.
Combining their resources, becoming one bigger entity.
So like a partnership.
Yeah, sometimes it's a very friendly joining of forces.
Okay.
But other times it can be a little bit more like a forced marriage.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Like when those two airlines merged a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone thought, oh, this is great for competition.
Right.
And then ticket prices went up.
That's right.
I definitely felt the impact of that.
Exactly. Mergers can have a big impact on consumers, sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much. And an acquisition is a different beast altogether.
Correct.
It's when one company buys another outright.
Okay.
It's essentially absorbing it into its own operations.
Like a takeover.
Yeah, like a takeover.
Okay.
Like when Amazon bought Whole Foods,
Oh, yeah.
suddenly you could order your groceries online and have them delivered.
Right.
It changes the whole grocery shopping game.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
So mergers are like a partnership.
Partnerships.
Acquisitions are more like a takeover.
Like a takeover, exactly.
Okay, got it.
Good.
Now, once these companies are, all big and merged or whatever,
Right.
they're focused on what?
What's that magic word?
What's the magic word?
You're talking about revenue.
Revenue.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the lifeblood of any business, big or small.
Okay.
It's the total income generated before any expenses are deducted.
So it's not about profit.
It's not about profit yet.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Why should I care about revenue?
Well, I think even if you're not, a business mogul, understanding revenue is important for all of us,
For our personal finances, too.
for personal finances as well,
Okay.
because it tells you how much money a company's bringing in, which can be an indicator of its health
Okay.
and its potential for growth.
Mm.
And if we think about our own revenue streams,
Okay.
like our salaries,
Yeah.
or maybe you have a side hustle,
Right.
understanding that can help us make smarter financial decisions.
Like taking those business concepts
Exactly.
and applying them to our own lives.
Exactly. That's a great point.
Okay, so we've talked about big companies, mergers, acquisitions, revenue, all very corporate.
Yeah.
But what about us regular folks just trying to manage our money?
Right.
Where do we fit into all of this?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
And that's where we'll pick up next.
All right, sounds good. I'm excited to learn more about that.
Me too.
Stay tuned, everyone.
We'll be right back. Even if we're not running, a big, huge company,
Right.
understanding these financial concepts can be a game changer for our own personal finances.
Totally.
It's about taking control of our money.
Okay.
And that starts with a word that might make some people groan a little bit.
Okay. Budgeting.
Budgeting.
Yeah.
I'll admit it doesn't sound like the most fun thing in the world.
No.
I used to think of it as like restricting myself.
Right.
Like no more lattes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Taking all the fun out of spending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm sensing you might have a different take on this.
I do. I think of budgeting not as a constraint,
Okay.
but as a tool for empowerment.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's about making conscious choices about your spending so you can achieve your financial goals.
Oh, yeah.
Whether that's, buying a house,
Mm-hmm.
traveling the world,
Yeah.
or just having that peace of mind,
Right.
knowing that you are financially secure.
So it's not just about like penny pinching.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's about making a plan for your money.
Okay. So how does it actually work?
Well, first you need to figure out where your money's going now. Okay. Track everything.
Yeah. Track it to do a little audit
Okay.
and then set some realistic goals for yourself.
Okay.
Maybe you want to save for a down payment on a house.
Yeah.
Or finally pay off that credit card debt.
It's always the credit card debt.
Always the credit card debt.
Well, like a millstone around your neck.
It really can be.
Yeah.
A budget helps you prioritize those goals and make sure you're allocating your money accordingly.
So it's like a roadmap
It is like a roadmap.
for my money.
Yeah,
Instead of just like letting it slip through my fingers.
exactly. Instead of just wondering where it all went.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of saving,
Okay.
let's talk about savings accounts.
All right.
I mean, they seem pretty straightforward, right? You
Yeah.
put money in, it sits there, maybe earns a little interest.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Not super exciting.
Yeah, they're not the sexiest financial product,
No.
but they are a fundamental building block
Okay.
for financial stability.
Okay.
Think of a savings account as your financial safety net.
Okay.
It's where you keep the money you need for short-term goals,
Mm-hmm.
unexpected expenses.
Yeah.
Or just a little cushion to kind of weather any financial storms.
That peace of mind knowing you've got something set aside.
Exactly.
Okay. But what if I want my money to grow a little faster than a snail's pace in a savings account?
Right.
What about investment?
Yes.
That always felt a little intimidating to me, like something only for Wall Street,
I get it, investing can seem daunting,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
At its core, it's simply putting your money to work for you
Mm-hmm.
with the goal of earning a return.
Okay.
Think of it as planting a seed and watching it grow into a tree that bears fruit.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
But there are so many different types of investment.
Well-
Or like, how do I even know where to start?
Well, that's where doing your research and maybe even consulting with a financial advisor can be really helpful.
Okay.
But the key is to start somewhere.
Okay.
Our source material mentions real estate, which can be a great long-term investment if you're comfortable with the risks involved.
Okay.
But there are so many other options,
Right.
depending on your risk tolerance, your time horizon, and your financial goals.
So it's about finding the right investments that align with my personal situation?
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of curious about the bigger picture.
Okay.
What about those economic forces that we always hear about?
Yes. The big, sometimes scary-sounding economic force.
Right, exactly.
Well, let's demystify them, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right.
Everyone's talking about inflation these days.
Oh, yeah, it's a hot topic.
Great.
Yeah.
Prices are going up. The dollar's not going as far.
Right. Your purchasing power is decreasing.
What's really going on?
Well, imagine you go to the grocery store and the price of your favorite cereal has gone up.
Okay, yeah.
That's inflation in action.
Okay.
It's a general increase in the prices of goods and services over time.
Okay.
And it can have a real impact on our purchasing power.
Like my money is literally losing value over time.
It is.
That's a little unsettling.
It can be.
What about recession?
Recession.
It's another one of those words that gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah, especially when the economy isn't doing so well.
Right, exactly.
A recession is essentially a period of economic decline,
Okay.
often marked by a decrease in spending, employment, and overall economic activity.
Okay, so it's like things are slowing down.
Yeah, things are slowing down.
Okay.
It can be a tough time for businesses and individuals alike.
Right.
And understanding these signs of recession can help us prepare
Okay.
and make informed decisions.
So inflation is prices going up, recession is the economy slowing down.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Got it. Okay, one last term I've always been curious about.
Okay.
Interest rates.
Interest rates.
What exactly are they?
Well, interest rates are essentially the cost of borrowing money.
Okay, so it's like a price tag attached to borrowing money, but why do we hear about interest rates going up and down all the time? What's the big deal?
Well, interest rates are a powerful tool used by central banks to influence the economy.
Okay.
When they lower interest rates, it becomes cheaper to borrow money, which can encourage spending and investment,
Right.
boosting economic activity.
Right.
But if inflation starts to rise too quickly, they might raise interest rates to cool things down and try to keep prices stable.
So it's like they're trying to find that balance
Yeah.
between stimulating the economy, but
Yeah.
also keeping inflation in check.
Right. It's a delicate balance.
Kind of like walking a tightrope.
It is. It's a complex juggling act,
Yeah.
and central bankers have a tough job
Yeah.
trying to keep all those balls in the air.
Yeah, for sure. But understanding the basics of interest rates can help us, make sense of the financial news
Absolutely.
and make better decisions about our own borrowing and saving.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, we've covered so much ground today.
We have.
From the excitement of startups and venture capital to the, nitty-gritty of budgeting and savings accounts and even those big economic forces like inflation and interest rates.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has, and these words have gone from sounding like complete jargon to actually making sense.
And that's the power of language, right?
Yeah.
When we understand the words, we can start to understand the concepts.
Mm-hmm.
And when we understand the concepts, we can start to make more informed decisions in our own lives.
So true. It's like we've unlocked this secret code to the world of business and finance.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's not so intimidating anymore.
It shouldn't be.
No.
It's all about empowering ourselves with knowledge.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to ask you, what's one thing you would encourage our listeners to do with all this newfound vocabulary and understanding?
Don't let this knowledge sit idle.
Okay.
Start using these words in your everyday conversations. Pay attention to the financial news and see how these concepts play out in the real world.
Yeah.
And most importantly, start thinking about how you could apply these principles to your own financial journey.
Such great advice. So whether you're prepping for a big exam, navigating the corporate world, or just trying to make smarter money decisions, remember that understanding these key terms is a powerful tool.
It is.
It's about feeling confident, taking control, and making informed choices.
Exactly. Knowledge is power. And now you have the power to navigate the world of business and finance with confidence.
That's so well said. I love this. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you learned something new, gained a fresh perspective, and feel empowered to keep exploring the fascinating world of business and finance.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy learning.